So question 6 says solve the following equation by factoring. So one thing to pick up on is this equation looks weird because it has x in the denominator. Remember, we cannot divide by 0. So the variable x cannot be 0. So we need to exclude 0 at the very beginning here. So if we solve for x and get 0, we have to throw it out. But if we don't get 0, we will keep the answer. We will not reject our solution. So if I look at this problem, I have 28x minus 33 equals 28 over x. To get rid of fractions, we can multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator, which is x. In doing so, let's see what happens. So x times 28x is going to give me 28x squared. X times negative 33 is going to be a negative 33x. And then on the right-hand side, the x's will divide out and give me a 28. So this now is quadratic, so we need to set it equal to 0. So we have this 28x squared minus this 33x. Since the 28 is going to come over, it's going to be a minus 28 equals then 0. That's the same as subtracting 28 on both sides. Now, since it says it's factorable, what I can do is set two sets of parentheses and start guessing and checking. Well, notice how the front term and the back term both have a 28 in them. One of my guesses would probably be try a 4 and a 7. So if I put a 4x here, I got to put a 7x here to get a 28x squared. And then to get a negative 28, I would need like a negative 4 and a positive 7. That would give me a negative 28. But the catch is the outer and inner terms have to give me a 33. So that's going to be a positive 28x, and this is going to be a negative 28x. That's going to turn into a 0. So that's not going to work. So what I can do, though, is maybe switch the rows of the 4 and the 7. So I could maybe try to put the 7 here and the 4 here and see if that makes a difference. So the outer becomes then a 16x. The inner becomes a negative 49x. Does 16x minus 49x, does that give me a negative 33x? So what is 49 minus 16? 33. Is the bigger number negative? Yeah, so that would work for us. So it is factorable. So what we kind of pick up on then is our two factors are 4x minus 7 and 7x plus 4. So for this to work, we can set each one of these factors equal to 0. 4x minus 7 equal to 0, 7x plus 4 equal to 0. So 4x is going to equal 7, x is going to equal 7/4. 7x is equal to negative 4, x is going to equal negative 4/7. So that's going to be our two solutions. So it is factorable. And if you can think of the most common factors for 28, we kind of got lucky and guessed it our second try. Now, if you're not really good with guess and check, you can use 4 squared. So the way 4 squared works is, since the quadratic term is 28x squared, that's what tells me to use 4x squared. If the coefficient of x squared is 1, I would not be using 4 squared. This just helps me when the coefficient of x squared is not 1. So put the 20x squared there, and my constant is the negative 20. They go here and here. Now the catch is I have to multiply the 28 times the negative 28. So the 28 times 28, if you will, is 784, but notice that one's positive, one's negative, so it's going to be a negative 784. But the factors of negative 74 have to add up to this negative 33. So if I'm going to use factoring, I have to find the factors of negative 784 that add up to negative 33. That's a lot, but again, I can use a table, y equals, and I could type in this 784 divided by x, and it can generate a table for me. So I'm just going to focus on the positive ones and go from there. So 1 and 74 again, they have to add to give me this negative 33. They don't look like they're going to give me this negative 33, nor does this 2 and 392. 8 and 98, no. 14 and 56. How far apart are those? 56 minus 14. Oops, won't do it there. Just have to quit that. So I don't see that happening. 56 minus 14 is not, that's going to be like 42. I'm close though. 16 and 49, that looks like the one I'm wanting. So if I quit that, 49 minus 16, there's a 33 there. So it looks like the 16 and this 49 are good. But it looks like the 49 is going to have to be negative. So 16 times negative 49, 16 times negative 49, does that give me negative 784? It does. Does 16 plus negative 49, does that give me negative 33? It does. So what it tells me then is I'm going to rewrite the middle term into these two terms. So I'm going to put a 16x there and negative 49x there. So the 16x and the negative 49x represents the negative 33x. Now what I want to do is identify the greatest common factor of this top row. So it looks like I have a 4 and an x in common. So 4x comes out. What times 4x is 28x squared? That sounds like 7x. What times 4x gives me 16? Looks like I need a 4. What times 7x is negative 49x? It looks like I need a negative 7. Negative 7 times 7x is negative 49. Does negative 7 times 4 give me negative 28? It does. So notice how my factors would be then 4x minus 7 times 7x plus 4. Notice how that gets me to the same spot we were over here. So I'm going to get to the same solutions, the 7/4 and the negative 4/7. So in my solution set, I'm going to have the 7/4 comma negative 4/7 as my two solutions. So your solution set should look like that.